In our previous class in 303, I mentioned how to use at the end of a verb that is in the imperative, how to use the pronoun, right? Possessive pronoun, for example. So here I will show you some examples how we use this, okay? So very short phrases, simple phrases showing you how this is used and how this is necessary and useful in Spanish. So, for example, we have the verb mirar, to look, right? I want to say, look at me. I will say, mírame. Mírame, right? Look at me, mírame. If I want to say, look at him, I will say, míralo. Míralo. Or look at her, I would say, mírala. Right? If I'm talking about food, I would say, eat it. Cómelo. Right? Cómelo. If the it is a masculine, right? If the it is feminine, like for example, something edible that is feminine, right? Like for example, remolacha, beetroot, right? Remolacha. I will say, eat it. I would say, cómela, with a at the end. Cómela. Okay? Tell it to me. Dímelo. Right? The verb in the infinitive is decir. Okay? Here the verb is comer, to eat. Here we were using mirar. Okay? Dímelo. Now I want to say, tell it to us, or say it to us, okay? Dínoslo. Dínoslo. Right? Lend it to me, please. Lend it to me, please. Préstamelo. Por favor, right? Por favor means please in Spanish. So this is just a review of what we have learned in lesson 303. Okay, so this is just a review for you to see how useful and necessary this is if you are to speak in Spanish, right? Préstamo, préstamelo, lend it to me. Give it back to me. We will say, devuélvemelo. Devuélvemelo. The verb is devolver, to give back. Devolver, to give back. So, devuelve is give back. Give back. Me, to me. Lo is it. So, give back to me it. Give it back to me. Right? Devuélvemelo. Give it back to me. Here, the verb préstamelo is, the verb is prestar, to lend. Presta is lend to me it. Préstamelo, por favor. Right? Now, niégaselo, deny it to him. Right? Niégaselo. For example, I want to convince somebody not to give or not to lend something to somebody else. So I will say, deny it to him, right? Or reject him. Niégaselo. Niégaselo. The verb is negar. Okay? Niégaselo. Now, I'll say, talking about the bread, cut it, right? Cut it, cut the bread. I will say, córtalo. Córtalo. Right? Cut it. If I want to say, cut it for me, I will say, córtamelo. Okay? Córtamelo. Of course, if I want to explicitly say the bread, I can also say corta el pan. To say cut the bread, or cut the bread for me, I can say córtame el pan, right? Pan means bread, right? Okay, so these are a few examples on how we use in Spanish the pronouns, the possessives, and pronouns at the end of the verb in the imperative, right? And this is so common and so frequently used that actually we use it unconsciously, right? We don't even think of it. It just comes out as in normal conversation. So it's really important that you learn how to use this, right? How to add the possessives and the pronouns at the end of the imperative verbs, okay? So thanks for watching, and don't hesitate to write to me or to ask if you have any questions. Goodbye.